This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning and welcome to the Handicappers Report on this Tuesday morning. Seth Merrill from Equidaily.com and Mike Jarbo from the Times-Union. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very good. How are you? And it looks like the jinx may be over.
Can you believe this? For those not keeping track, I am. I took a look at the Parks Twitter feed for their cancellations I do the show on Tuesday and I'm assigned to do Parks. And Parks cancellations, Tuesday the 4th, snow, no racing at Parks. Tuesday the 28th, cold, no racing at Parks. Tuesday the 21st, snow and cold, they had both that day, no racing at Parks. And they actually ran on the 14th, on the 7th, canceled. So that's as far back as I could bear to look. So I think they're going today, though.
It has been a rough patch.
Feed.
They ran yesterday, so I would expect them to go today. So you're back on track. But perhaps the jinx is over.
Well, I know it's cold there today.
We were wondering, though, if the weather warmed up, whether it would be locusts moving in. So it looks like you may be safe from that. We've gotten over the hump. Do want to remind you some events coming up here at Capital OTB in the month of February. These are both at the Clubhouse Racebook, online, as well as some of the branches also. Coming up this weekend, the 15th and the 22nd, both, there will be a Showviver online contest. The 15th, there's a Fan Appreciation Day at the Cleats branch. The 22nd, down here at the Clubhouse Racebook, it is Prize Wheel Day, so keep that in mind. Also coming up a little bit later this month, Friday the 21st, another $500 happy hour bankroll with Brian Nadeau. On Mondays throughout the month, there's a $100 knockout challenge that is based on Aqueduct Racing, as Aqueduct is racing now on Monday. So all month long in February, there will be a $100 knockout challenge down here at the Clubhouse Racebook. And finally, on the 23rd, there is a Sunday Syndicate bankroll via the CapitalOTB.com website. So all of that coming up in the month of February, and I'm just looking here. I thought I brought the flyer. Oh, here it is. I'm looking at the back of it. Just want to alert you because this comes up on March 1st, but it's the next edition of the Capital OTB Handicapping Series for 2014. So keep in mind if you're playing at the handicapping contest down here at the Clubhouse Racebook, the March edition comes right up, March 1st. The Shamrock Showdown on March 1st, and you can find out more about all these events. Again, here at the Clubhouse Racebook or online events or at the various branches, you can find out more if you go to CapitalOTB.com. And Mike, it was a big weekend. We talked a little bit about it on the show yesterday with the various guests. East Coast, West Coast, 3-year-olds and older horses, and one of the highlights, of course, was the Don and Lee. And we had a discussion, actually, both on the Handicappers Report and a little bit later on Racing Across America. Lee or Leah? I was just wondering the same going thing. Back and forth a little bit on the Fox broadcast, and I was going Lee, and then Anthony Mormino looked up on his tablet while we were on the air, and he found a definition that had it separated into 2 syllables. Well, if it's 2 syllables, it's got to be Leah. So by the next show, I shifted to Leah. Mike Penna was on with me on Racing Across America. He said Larry Colmus was on his Twitter feed defending Lee. So I went to the Twitter feed, and there, sure enough, Larry Colmus made a case for Lee. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to search around, and sure enough, I found Macmillan Dictionary. There is actually a link with an audio pronunciation, which is Lee. So I'm going with the dictionary. I'm now back to Lee for the pronunciation of the horse. But no matter how you pronounce it, it was an impressive performance. The buyer figure 114.
That pronunciation is just another example of how this is not an easy game. If you can't even pronounce the horse.
Yeah, how do you say the name? And
yes, that was a good race by Leah. Not sure how to say. Now you've got me confused. Attending the strong pace, 1:10 and 4 for the 6 furlongs, and We'll Take Charge, I mean, I wonder if that one was compromised, A, by not having a race over the track, and B, by the fact, and I saw some controversy about this, the track was sealed before the race and then harrowed afterward. I wonder if that could have assisted the speed in that race.
Well, I think the normal track bias of Gulfstream played into Lee, making that big move at the top of the stretch. It seems like all meet long, it has been hard to make up ground in the stretch, so Will Take Charge was up against it. That said, I think no shame in the nice second place finish. He winds up with a 111 buyer figure. D. Wayne Lucas now saying Santa needed handicap, the big cap, next up for Will Take Charge. And again, you know, he was just maybe up against it a little bit in the lane, but still made a pretty good late run. I think given what he did at the end of the 3-year-old season last year against older horses in the Breeders' Cup Classic and the Clark, and then this, he validated he's going to be a nice contender in the older division. But now the 2 races for Lee down at Gulfstream under the care now of Bill Mott have been very impressive. It's going to be fun to see what he does. But I said it yesterday, some horses just freak over that Gulfstream Park strip. I want to see him do it away from Gulfstream before I totally jump on board.
That's right.
But I was certainly impressed with, again, 114 buyer figure, and I think he will move forward. Anything else jump out at your weekend? The other one that was the wow factor for me was Groupie Doll.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gone through that race yet, but I did see the results of it.
It was very impressive in that she got off to a absolutely horrendous start.
Yeah.
You thought, oh, career finale is going to wind up to be a little bit of a dud, and at the top of the stretch, the afterjets turned on, and she was impressive. Also, some news that came out, and as we are both here in New York and follow New York racing closely, this certainly hit the radar screen. Belmont Stakes Day now has expanded. 10 stakes races. They're looking for an absolute event on Belmont Stakes Day. And it will be the second richest day in North American racing with $8 million in purses. The thing that was still kind of left up in the air was pricing for customers. We have to wait and see what the situation is going to be there.
Oh, you hit me right in the wheelhouse with that one. I really, really am angry at the prospect of seeing higher prices for this. I mean, racing needs to build its fan base. You need to get families interested in bringing the kids out to see a possible Triple Crown winner, and you're not going to do that by just pricing them out of the market, by increasing the admission fee dramatically that day. I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I've got a wait-and-see approach. I want to see what they do because I don't mind racetracks. I mean, Churchill certainly does it. Pimlico does it with the Preakness. Racetracks these days, some of them, I mean, there are some racetracks that don't even have this, but there are 1 or 2 days out there where maybe you can jump in and get a little more on the admission price. I think Churchill goes overboard with the Derby. And Pimlico's really just got that one day, and there's the big infield crowd. So and Churchill has the infield crowd too. Both of those have a little bit of a different feel to them than does Belmont Stakes Day. So I'll take a wait-and-see attitude and see how they approach it and how much it gets jacked up. But I've said it before when they talked about raising the prices at Saratoga this year, I would love to see them institute some kind of customer loyalty program.
Exactly.
So you walk in, you have a swiper card maybe, and at Saratoga, a certain number of days you come, you reach that point, your admission charge comes down a little bit, maybe you reach another tier and it comes down a little further. Well, Belmont Stakes Day, if you've gone enough, maybe you get a little bit of a reduction on the price coming in. I would like to see something like that instituted just to recognize folks who come out day in and day out. They certainly deserve to also be able to go to the big days, and as you say, if you want to bring the family and everything,
Absolutely.
even more of a bonus.
I mean, racing is up against it oftentimes now because of the expanded gambling opportunities. And they need loyalty programs to make sure the fans keep coming back. If somebody can go to a casino and drink for free and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know, it becomes less attractive to pay to get into a racetrack and then be asked to pay more. No, bad idea.
Yeah,
I don't think it's worth the small amount of extra income you see from the admission price.
Yeah, we will see again as to the point where the prices do get increased because I think they're walking a fine line. I think when you institute a day like this, big racing, you don't want the first year of it. You don't want the attendance to take a hit. So they're walking a fine line where I think they got to watch and come up with an optimum kind of a admission price, and so we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out.
And the other thing is, I think the attendance at the Belmont is going to be very dependent, obviously, on whether they have a Triple Crown candidate this year.
Yeah, and as soon as they announced they were going to change things up, I thought that probably made it a foregone conclusion that we will have a triple crown, because I thought they're thinking, hey, let's juice up the attendance and the handle, and then this year they'll have a triple crown
One
attempt.
thing I don't want to see at the Belmont Stakes is Kegasis. Do you remember Kegasis?
I do, yes.
That was the mascot for what, was it Preakness a few years ago?
Yeah.
I want no part of that guy.
Yeah, I think Kegasis has even been retired down in Pimlico. He hung around for a couple of years. And if you don't remember Pegasus, I'm sure if you go to YouTube, Pegasus, if you go to YouTube and pull up, type him in, you'll get a kick out of it.
Avert your eyes, folks.
Yeah.
Just be careful if you're looking.
All right, we're going to shift to the handicapping portion of the program. Mike's going to take, as mentioned earlier, a look at parks a little bit later on, but I'm going to kick things off with Turf Paradise for this afternoon.
Okay, in the first at Turf Paradise, we have $3,000 beaten claimers, 3-year-olds and up, going for a $6,000 purse. The condition is horses who started at the Turf Paradise meet but haven't finished in the money. They're going a mile.
Yeah, it's the loser's condition. And that's what makes this race an absolute head scratcher. I mean, it's just that they've started 2013, 2014, but haven't finished in the first 3 positions. So it's just the condition says these horses aren't very good. And it's tough to come up with something with much confidence. I went 1, 3, 6, and 7. I put Carnera on top. Last time out, 9th by 10 lengths. Prior to that, 9th by 13 lengths. Prior to that, 6th, then 8th by 20. So it's, I'm just kind of scratching my head here and looking. On the numbers, though, I think this horse has some back numbers that says maybe in this limited talent field, Carnera can be up there. And again, I'm kind of basing it on the numbers. Picks up White Shield, the Hot Apprentice down there. Just a few things to like. And you're kind of searching in this field, honestly, to any little thing to hang your hat on. So I go with Carnera on top, but it's a tepid selection. Number 3, Arizona Prospect in the 2nd spot, has been in some of these restricted 3,000 Bs over the past 3 races, and has shown a little improvement over those past 3. Seems to be moving in the right direction. And again, against a relatively weak field, is firing numbers that says probably can be up in the hunt. And then Samendra, the number 6 horse, also in the mix. Moved down here to Turf Paradise after having raced at Canterbury and Prairie Meadows over the past season and a half. Only a couple of starts in 2013, so this is a horse that fitness might be a question mark, but laid off until May, from May until January. Ran, I guess, an okay 4th last time. This may be the one to beat just on the fact that the recency isn't necessarily as bad as the others, but the fitness is maybe still a question mark. With only the 2 starts last year, might still need one more to kind of get to top level. I'm jumping in here, but doing so absolutely tepidly. I have it 1, 3, 6, and 7.
Okay, moving along to the second at Turf Paradise, we're going 5.5 furlongs, state breds, 62.50 claimers, non-winners of 3 lifetime, going for a $7,100 purse.
5, 7, 4, and 2. The number 5 is Iron House. Comes back to the main track with a class drop. Tried the turf last time. That was a turf experiment, the first start on the turf in the career. Didn't show much there. Had a little early punch, I guess, but then faded. That was at the 12.5 level as well. So comes back to the dirt now. Last couple of times on the dirt was at an 8,000 level, so takes at least a half a step down the claiming ladder. The 2 things add up. Back to the main track. Class drop, up with Iron House on top. 2nd spot, the number 7, Mo Rock, just seems to be in some pretty good form. I mean, you have to go back, 8, 9 starts before we see this horse miss a trifecta finish. And I'll take that back. There's an allowance start 3 races back that was a 5th place finish. So 1 out of the last 8 or 9 starts was outside of an in-the-money finish. Horse races pretty well. Doesn't hit the winner's circle that often, but races pretty well here at Turf Paradise, having hit the board 10 of 13 starts. So again, little horse for a course, horse that's in some pretty good form, picks up the Hot Apprentice. We'll put Mo Rock in the mix as well. And then the number 4, Sky Avenger, another horse getting back to the dirt after a turf experiment last time. But the 2 most recent dirt tries were pretty good. A couple of 2nd place finishes with numbers that fit with this field. So I think Sky Avenger going to be in the hunt as well. In the 2nd race, 5, 7, 4, and 2.
Okay, in the third race at Turf Paradise, we're going a mile. 62.50 claimers, non-winners of 2 lifetime, 3-year-olds and up. $6,700 is the purse.
6, 4, 2, and 7. The number 6 is awfully lucky and comes out of a little stakes race. Last time ran 6th in a field of 8, so not much there, but certainly getting some class relief off of that one. 2 starts back, though, was in for 12.5, ran a good 3rd, comes for 8 today. I think on the class relief, this horse is probably going to be right in the comfort zone. Awfully lucky on top. Second spot, we will go to the number 4, Starry Shark. Just moving to a more appropriate level. Excuse me, broke the maiden for a $5,000 tag and did so pretty convincingly on the move from Southern California. So got the venue class relief and validated that at 1-2. Then they got a little bit ambitious and went into an allowance event. Now moves back, as I say, to probably a more appropriate 62.50 non-winners at 2 lifetime. And with that class relief, should get back closer probably to that maiden breaker. Third spot, the number 2, Smart Masterpiece. Comes back to Turf Paradise after taking a sojourn over to Southern California. I think on the venue class relief and price class relief off of that race, this one should bounce back and be competitive in here. In the third, 6, 4, 2, and 7.
All right, in the fourth race at Turf Paradise, we have maiden fillies. They'll be going 6 furlongs for a $5,000 tag. The purse is $6,000.
1, 3, 2, and 5. The number 1 is Sinful Rose. Just gets a slight nod on the cutback. Had raced a couple of times just prior to the last race at 5.5 and 6.5. And those were kind of nice improving efforts. And so this horse seemed to be set up to run well last time. But on the stretch out to 6 furlongs, just seemed to kind of toss out the anchor late. Kicks back from that mile last time to 6 furlongs today. And I think on the cutback, we'll get maybe closer to what we were seeing 2 and 3 starts back. Again, the talented apprentice White Shield on board. Second spot, the number 3, You Know You Love Me. On the class drop, gets some attention here. Career debut in California was back in 2012. Then laid off the better part of a year and a half. Came back mid-January to run a pretty good race in the comeback effort. Nice second place finish at an $8,000 tag. Off of that, they got ambitious and bumped up to a maiden optional claimer for 30. Comes back 5 today, and I think the 5, the third start off the layoff, there are a couple of things that add up that says You Know You Love Me should be competitive in here. Number 2, Right Trick. Just gets the selection off the latest effort. A very good buyer figure. Nice speed early, wound up running a good second, but the trainer's on an O for the meet. So I couldn't pull the trigger to move this one up any further. But again, off of the last effort, I think Right Trick comes right in the mix. And I also took a little look at Hot Roxy, being a second-time starter. Didn't show a whole lot in the career debut, but maybe had an excuse. A little bit of breeding there that was interesting. This one has a full sibling called Johnny Bonita that took 5 to win. Another sibling called Just Another Bob that took 7 to win. So I think, again, Hot Roxy, as far as the breeding, has some siblings that have gotten it done. Just kind of seems to take them a while. But at this lower level, maybe if this one breaks nicely, this horse could be up in the hunt. So just mentioning, I have Hot Roxy down in my mix. But again, you can kind of take a look at that one if the odds hold up. In the fourth, 1, 3, 2, and 5.
Okay, we're on the lawn in the fifth at Turf Paradise. We're on the grass about 1 mile and a 16th. 62.50 beaten claimers going for an $8,000 purse.
3, 8, 10, and 2. The number 3 is Bobby Handy. And Bobby Handy just gets this is another one that I'm just going to give a little tepid nod to, but on the recent form. The recent form, 3 straight wins, but the last couple was in the marathon series they had out there. The last race, 1 mile and 5/8. The race before that, 1 mile and a quarter. Now moves over to the turf and cuts back to 1 mile and a 16th. Sometimes when they stretch out like that, 1 mile and 5/8, it just dulls the speed a little bit. And this one's modus operandi over the past few has kind of been to stalk. We'll see, because 1 mile and a 16th, this horse is going to have to probably motor a little bit faster early. But again, pretty good form. The cutback, though, is a little bit of a concern, as is the move to the turf. This horse has never tried the turf before, but has run okay on synthetics out in Southern California and Northern California. So I'm expecting the turf form to be okay. We'll see, though. Bobby Handy, some good form, but again, some question marks on the cutback and distance, and if this horse will be as sharp as will be needed at 1.16 miles. Number 8, Swiss Exploit. The Portland Meadows meet closed 3 weeks ago, so maybe we'll see some more of these Portland Meadows shippers show up here over the next few weeks at Turf Paradise, but I'm not sure how the Portland Meadows form will transfer. Again, this is also not a bona fide turf runner. This horse only one try over the turf, didn't hit the board that day. All that said, I think this horse has some nice early speed, seemed to be in some pretty good form at the end of the Portland Meadows season. This one will help us get maybe a little bit of a barometer on the form as it transfers from Portland Meadows down to Turf Paradise. So I'll throw it in the mix, but I'm just scratching my head a little bit until we find out more today. Third spot, Tobias Journey. This horse might be the one. It has some recent grass experience, and as I say, my top two, I was searching a little bit. They're tepid choices, and neither one of the top two really have grass experience, whereas Tobias Journey comes off of 4 straight turf starts down here at Turf Paradise. It seems to be in some pretty good form. Finishing positions weren't much, but I think the numbers stack up. And again, given the recent grass experience, might have an edge on some of these in here. So Tobias Journey on the numbers, I couldn't pull the trigger, but depending on how the top two do take to the grass, if it's a negative move there for those two, Tobias Journey may be the one that gets all the money. So in the 5th race today, Turf Paradise, 3, 8, 10, and 2. 3, 8, 10, and 2.
And that'll bring us up to a break. We have some messages for you, and when we come back, we'll have more of the handicapping stylings of Seth Merrow from Turf Paradise right after this.
I'm Seth Merrill. Join me weekdays at 10 for Racing Across America. We'll look at important races from around the country, get insight from top handicappers and analysts, and preview the upcoming week in racing. That's Racing Across America, weekdays at 10, right here on the OTB TV network. The Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back. That's right. The 2014 Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back, and it's your chance to win thousands in cash and prizes, and a seat at the 2015 Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. This month's contest is the Shamrock Showdown on March 1st. So sign up today, online at capitalotb.com, or stop in at the Clubhouse Racebook.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to Handicappers Report on this chilly Tuesday morning. I'm Mike Jarbo of the Times-Union. I'm here with my colleague Seth Merrow of Equidaily.com. Seth is going over the card at Turf Paradise today. We're up to the 6th race at Turf Paradise, a 6.5 furlong contest for $3,000 claimers, non-winners of a race in a calendar condition. I believe it's August 11th. $6,000 is the purse.
7, 3, 6, and 5. The number 7 is annotation. Just on the recent form, 2 starts back, a nice 3rd place finish. Last time out, the buyer figure jumped up nicely, as did the finishing position. So again, this horse just seems to be maybe moving in that upslope on the form cycle. So on the current form, the recent form, annotation on top. Second spot, Free from My Ex. Love to know the story behind that one.
I'm not sure I would.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But this one gets some venue and price class relief, moves in from Southern California, had been racing against better price-wise, and again, just to move to the Turf Paradise circuit brings along some relief. So price, venue relief, we'll use Free from My Ex in the second spot. Third spot, it is the number 6, Far Flung. On the numbers, I tossed this one in, but this one goes from a 2,500 calendar condition to 3,000. Probably not that much of a difference, but it, you know, it's hard to know. I don't watch Turf Paradise closely enough day in and day out to know if that 2,500 to 3 is a significant jump. It could be, though, because, I mean, we're talking the basement, essentially, a basement calendar condition. So this may be a pretty significant half step up. We'll see today. On the numbers, I think Far Flung fits. Class-wise, again, I'm just not quite convinced of this one being a lateral kind of move. It may be a little bit of a step up. We'll see today, but I have Far Flung in the third spot. In the 6th, 7, 3, 6, and 5.
Okay, that brings us up to the 7th race. 5.5 furlongs, $3,200 claimers. Non-winners of 2 in the last 6 months. $6,000 purse.
1, 7, 2, and 5. The number 1 is Metropolitan Man. And this horse absolutely freaked in the first start at Turf Paradise. Came in from California and just, you know, a nice hefty buyer figure, the best buyer figure we've seen from this one in quite a while, and one off for fun. That was at one of those 2,500 calendar conditions. Moved up last time to a starter allowance 3. And buyer figure moved in the wrong direction. Finishing position moved in the wrong direction. Now, part of that could be the move to starter allowance. I think starter allowance is probably saltier than this calendar condition 3 today. So the company might have been tougher. Also, off of the freaky effort on the move to Turf Paradise, that might have been a little bit of a bounce as well. So I'm now moving down to the 3 calendar condition, probably going back to a more proper level. And off of that effort last time where it might have been a bounce, Metropolitan Man might be primed to run very well today. Second spot, I went to the number 7, 2 Step Saturday. Near miss in a similar race last time. I've said it plenty of times before. If they're coming out of a very similar race and they've run well, why not throw them right back into the mix? And that's the game plan with 2 Step Saturday. And then in the third spot, number 2, Apolitical Time, who I originally had in the second spot, and I just kind of went back and forth with both my second and third selections. Wound up just moving this one down a little bit, but it's not going to shock me if this horse betters my rating. Has the numbers to fit with this particular bunch. Goes turf to dirt, gets a cutback in distance, and drops off the last few races class-wise. So there are some things that add up, check marks in the positive columns for Apolitical Time. Check mark in the negative column, the jockey on an O for the meet. So I couldn't really get super excited about the jockey in here, and that was what just shied me away from this horse a little bit. But Apolitical Time, again, won't shock me at all if this horse betters my third placing in here. In the 7th, 1, 7, 2, and 5.
Okay, that brings us to the 8th at Turf Paradise, and we're back on the lawn at going a mile and a 16th. 62.50 beaten claimers, $8,000 is the purse.
9, 8, 5, and 1. The number 9 is Farmer Giles, and this one gets a class drop in the second start since the move from Southern California, actually from Northern California, had been racing on the grass at Golden Gate, came down here to Turf Paradise, and was a good third in the first start here at Turf Paradise. Actually, it wasn't a first start. This horse had raced at Turf Paradise prior, not showing on the page, however. But on the return to Turf Paradise, nice race at the 10,000 level. So now comes back in the second start since arriving back at Turf Paradise and drops to the 62.50. So I think on the class drop in the second start back, Farmer Giles, very, very interesting. Linden Mauve, the number 8 horse, another one dropping, has been at the 10 and 10.5 level in the past 3 starts. Been racing competitively, comes down, what, a step and a half, couple of steps maybe claiming wise, and should fit with this bunch. Nice Hot Apprentice White Shield on board. And then the number 5, Aerial Artist. And it's another one with the second start since the venue moved from California. This one was down in Southern California at Hollywood Park most recently, moved to Turf Paradise, and was in an allowance event. It was competitive early and then faded late. I think, again, with the class relief, this horse is going to be significantly more competitive in with this bunch today. So in the 8, 9-8, 5-1.
Okay, that brings us to the nightcap at Turf Paradise. 5 furlongs for $3,500 claimers. Non-winners of 2 lifetime going for $6,200.
4, 3, 7, and 8. Number 4 is Brojack, and Brojack, a couple of starts out of town to start the career. This horse has been really punching the frequent flyer miles. Golden Gate on December 26th, down at Oaklawn on January 17th, and then back to Turf Paradise on February 7th. So now comes back on a significantly quick turnaround, and this is the top trainer out there, Robertino Diodoro. Look at the limited sample, but 7 starts on horses coming back within a week's rest, 71%. So this seems to be a modus operandi for the trainer. Showed some punch last time, and now on the quick comeback, I think Brojack should be interesting. Number 3, Haya. A couple of nice 54 buyer figures in the last couple of starts. One of those, the finishing position wasn't too good, but 2 back was a just missed effort, and 2 back was right at this class level. So I think with the return to the N2L 3500, Haya will be in the hunt. And then the number 7, Go-To Guy. 3 starts back, ran a nice 52 buyer figure in a just miss effort. The past couple haven't been as good, but from 2 starts back to last time, did show a little nice punch and a nice improvement in the buyer figure. So I think maybe we're moving back closer to that 52 buyer figure 3 starts back. So in the 9th, 4, 3, 7, and 8.
All right, that'll do it from Turf Paradise.
We're heading to a break.
That's what I
Bottom
thought.
of the hour break. So we'll be back in a minute. When we come back, Mike's going to take a look at parks.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. All here on the OTB TV network.
Wagering at CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Capital Bet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. Capital Bet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. Capital Bet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report for this Tuesday morning. Seth Merrill and Mike Jarbo. I just took a look at Turf Paradise. We'll now shift our attention to parks for this afternoon.
You know, Seth, before we do that, I just had an idea. With the Leah thing, why don't next week's show, why don't we pronounce our names 2 different ways? see if that works.
Yeah, let's absolutely confuse everything. I like that. Parks opener this afternoon is a conditional claim event. Claiming tag $7,500. Condition non-winners of 3 lifetime. Fillies and Mares 4-year-olds and up. They'll go a quick 5.5.
2, 8, and 4 for me in this race. I'm going to take a stand against what I think is going to be a heavy favorite in the 8, and I'm going to take Bugski, the 2, on top. This one got hammered to 4-5, and last start put up a nice win, back 1 condition going versus non-winners of 2, and was very wide in that race in the mud, and pulled off a pretty good win. The rider who rode Bugski in that race departs and goes to Plumeria, who's the likely favorite. But I'm going to see Bugski as maybe getting the better of Plumeria in this spot. Okay, for the second spot, I am going to Plumeria, the 8. This one posted a very convincing win last out, and in doing so, finished well clear of next out winner in elite honor. Had the best last out buyer number, and off that convincing win at the distance, this one is going to be really, really tough in here. And also, if you look at the times, this one ran a pretty good time at the distance in the last race. So I'm going to hope for a little bit of a bounce with Plumeria and try to get Bugski on top. In the third spot, we'll go to the 4, Astro. Has some light numbers for this spot, but has a good record at the distance, is 3 for 3 in the exact at the distance, has run well at this track, and so we'll see if we can get that one home for the third spot. 2, 8, and 4 for me in the first at Parks.
Second half of the early double today, race number 2, a plain vanilla claimer, $5,000 tags, 4-year-olds and up, they'll go a mile.
4, 3, and 6 in here. We're going to put Surprise Storm on top, who dusted non-winners of 1 calendar condition runners, 2 back, and get some class relief off the layoff in here. Returns to the level of claim. Last time had some trouble at the start and put up a subpar effort off that. But this one has 9 wins over this course, 4 wins at this distance out of 9 starts. So we're going to see Surprise Storm getting to the circle here. In the second spot, we'll go to the 3, Rick the Bartender, who this one also has a throwout race in the last start. Had a wide post in a 9-horse field and got carried even wider, and basically did nothing off that. Got discouraged. 2 back, ran okay in a key race. So if you toss that race, look 2 back, and then go even further back 3, you see some pretty good numbers out of this one. The trainer also has good numbers second off the layoff. So we're going to see Rick the Bartender getting the second spot. In the third spot, we're going to put the 6, Bracket Buster, who gets major class relief today, removes blinkers, has a good record at the distance, and the last race was not bad at 20-1. So we're going to put Bracket Buster in the third spot, 4, 3, 6 in the second at Parks.
Third race this afternoon, conditional claiming event. Claiming tags $7,500. The condition non-winners of 3 lifetime. Fillies and Mares 4-year-olds and up, they'll go 5.5.
10, 5, and 4 in here. We're going to put Ciboa on top. I believe it's pronounced Ciboa. Ciboa gets major class relief today, dropping down to $7,500 claiming level. Last out, didn't do a whole lot versus non-winners of 1 other than allowance condition. But this one has run well at this distance and is the field's top earner. Has been decent at the distance, and of interest is this one is making its second dirt start today. The first race, the last race, was this one's first dirt start, and really didn't do much in that one. But I think maybe this one will figure out what to do on the dirt today. I'm going to take a shot from the outside post. So that's Ciboa, number 10 on top. In the second spot, we'll go to the 5, Armed and Beautiful, who has some pretty good races if you look a few back. Last out, tried a different tack and ran from the back of the pack and didn't get there, but has run pretty well in the lead in the races before that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this one return to a speed tactic, shortening up. And also, last out, this one ran second behind Toe Jam Football, who you may remember had some pretty good races in New York, as I recall. So we're going to see Armed and Beautiful in the second spot. And in the third spot, the 4 G.I. Jody. The numbers aren't bad. We're going to put this one in the mix. Was wide last time out. And that was a pretty even effort. So had a barn change in November and was pretty good first off the barn change, but the two after that weren't too good, but kind of picked it up last time. So we're going to hope to see a better effort out of G.I. Jody today. So that's 10-5-4 in the third at Parks.
Race number 4 at Parks this afternoon. Yet another conditional claimer, $7,500 tags. This time the condition non-winners of 4 lifetime. And once you get up to this non-winners of 4, they're a little saltier. These are 4-year-olds and up, they'll go a mile.
1, 5, and 8. We're going to take College Bound on top, who last out was off slow in the mud, and I'm going to take that race and draw a line through it. If you look at the races 2 and 3 back, you see this one had a very close finish, second by a neck, third by a neck. So if you just toss that last race, and the horse doesn't seem to be in too bad a form. Stretch out might help the added furlong, and has decent races at a mile, gets a rail trip. So we're going to see College Bound getting to the winner's circle today, the 1. In the second spot, we're going to the 5, JC's Dream, who was decent at 17-1 versus better. Had a good run at a mile here in September, and one for 16 over the course doesn't make me very happy, but has had a few good races here. Has 3 second-place finishes and 3 third-place finishes over the track. So we're going to see JC's Dream in the third spot. That gives us 1-5-8 in the fourth at Parks.
Race number 5 this afternoon is yet another conditional claimer, and in fact, 7,500 non-winners of 4 lifetime is the condition again. This time, 4-year-olds and up, again, going a mile. Seems like this is probably a split division kind of a race.
I am going to go 7-2-5 in here, and I'm going to take a line from you, Seth, and my top pick, Indigo Fashion, who gets what you always refer to as venue class relief here, coming in from Churchill Downs off a layoff. This one has had wins in its last 2 starts, was claimed by a high percentage barn in the last. And if you look at some of the back efforts too, this one has posted some good numbers. So also is working well for this start. So I'm going to put Indigo Fashion on top. I don't think there's going to be a great price, but you take what they give you sometimes. In the second spot, we're going to go to the 2 Nice Gator, who in last time out was disqualified. He came across the wire first, versus some of these in here. Drifted out and was taken down. Gets a nice inside draw, can save some ground, and gets 7 pounds off with a bug rider aboard. So we'll put Nice Gator in the second spot. In the third spot, we're going to put Lender's Way, one of our old New York friends. This one is the 5. Has some back class. If you look back to September, was running at Saratoga and now is appearing for $7,500 claiming level in Philadelphia. And I would dare say these are going to be a little easier. Pablo Fregoso's aboard. He's been riding well. And this one made a good late run last time. We'll need some pace in front of her. But we will put Lender's Way in the third spot, 7-2-5 at Parks.
All right, that takes us to our last commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue our look at Parks Racing for this afternoon. Stay tuned.
I'm Steve Beck.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're Loose on the Lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., Loose on the Lead, Capital OTB.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
The Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back. That's right. The 2014 Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back, and it's your chance to win thousands in cash and prizes, and a seat at the 2015 Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. This month's contest is the Shamrock Showdown on March 1st. So sign up today, online at CapitalOTB.com, or stop in at the Clubhouse Racebook.
I'm Mark Casano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB television network.
Welcome back. We'll continue now our look at Parks for this afternoon with their sixth race. It's a Pennsylvania-bred maiden special weight event. These are 3-year-old fillies. They'll go 7 furlongs. Nice full field. Looks like a fun race.
It sure does. I'm going to take a first-time starter in this race. I'm going to go with the 10 Fat Cat. This one debuts with Lasix today and goes for a barn that usually does well at this track, but has been struggling this year. I'm going to put this one on top also because I like the workouts. This one has a pretty good pattern of workouts. Like I said, debuts with Lasix, sold for about 50 times the sire's fee, and I think all systems are go for Fat Cat today. So that's the 10 Fat Cat on top. In the second spot, we're going to go with a 4 Swing On By, who is the most accomplished, I think, of the ones who have started in here. This one ran third behind a next out winner in her debut, and made up ground late in both of her first 2 starts, and especially the last race. I thought that was more impressive because she made up a decent amount of ground against some pretty slow fractions. So we're going to see 4 Swing On By in the second spot. In the third spot, we're going to go to the 6 Lemon Strudel, who is likely to be a big bomb in here, who should be a good price and was steadied last out while making a big move. And we're going to take a risk at 20 to 1 morning line that this one will show an improved performance today. 10, 4, 6 in the 6th race at Parks.
Race number 7 this afternoon, starter allowance at the $16,000 level. These are 4-year-olds and up. They will travel 1.70 miles.
4, 3, 5 for me in here. I'm going to put Turban on top, and this is interesting. This one tired chasing a fast pace versus better while hung wide. I'm hoping to get a stalking trip in here, and ran the top number in 2-back. Ran the top number of these. But one interesting thing I noticed about this race is 2-back. This horse finished second to a repeater named Prohibition. Now, if you remember back to yesterday, Prohibition ran at Aqueduct in a pretty good allowance race and didn't do a whole lot. So initially I thought this one would be flattered by having run behind Prohibition, but now I'm a little bit dicey on it. But we'll still put Turban on top. In the second spot, we'll go to the 3 Boy Has Rhythm, who has a pretty good record over the course, 5 wins, 10 exacta finishes at Parks, 1 his only start at the distance, and 2-back. I'm going to toss the race 2-back in the mud. The last race was pretty good and retains the same jock, Flores. So we'll put the 3 Boy Has Rhythm in the second spot. In the third spot, we'll go to the 5 Perfect Timeout, who had a pretty good victory last out, running on the front end, was pressed early and still managed to open late. This was at Laurel, going 1 1/16 miles. And And the fact that the horse ran that well while being pressed all that way, I think that would be a good sign, but I'm a little worried about seeing a bounce out of this one. But I think we can still see a good performance. Has McCarthy aboard. 4-3-5.
Eighth race this afternoon, an allowance event, non-winners of one other than. These are 4-year-olds and up, and they will go 3/4 of a mile.
Okay, we're going to go 4, 1A, and 2 in here. And on top we have Jeter, who is another one of our New York friends. This is another one getting venue class relief, has been running at Aqueduct. And the last race was not so hot. But if you look at the races 2 and 3 back, they were pretty good efforts. Might wind up getting a slower pace to attend to here. And with the venue class relief, I think can post a better performance today. This one has 3 wins at the distance also. So I think also this one had a pretty good workout at Laurel preparing for this race. So I think Jeter, I think we're going to see a better effort out of Jeter today. Second spot will go to the 1A, Show You Love. But the entry mate is also interesting in here. This one was well clear 2 back, finishing second, but was well clear of a next out winner in that race. And the interesting running line comment in the racing form is that performance was done with blinker cup flapping. So that couldn't have helped very much while this one was coming down the stretch. This one's last race was a total throw out, was off slow and raced wide. So we're gonna toss that one. And based on the prior effort, we're going to put Show You Love in the second spot. The third spot, we're going to go to the 2, Do Miss Me, which is another one whose name, I pick this horse every week to do something, and it took me like 5 times to figure out how to pronounce this name. This one raced pretty well, moving to open company last time, was off slow and very wide and still put in a really good performance, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this one show up today. 4, 1A, and 2 in the 8th at Parks.
9th and final today at Parks. I believe it's the final. Yeah, there's only 9 today. Is a conditional claim event, calendar condition at the $5,000 level. These are fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 1 mile and 70.
9, 4, 7 in here. We're going to put Boss's Rules on top, who is the likely favorite. This one has a good record over the course, and last out finished a length behind the next out winner when finishing 3rd. 50 lifetime starts, so this one's been around, knows the game. 7 wins, so she knows how to get to the winner's circle. The last race was in slop, too. Should get a fast track today, I hope. Although the way I've been jinxing Parks, I'm not sure they won't have a monsoon by the time the race goes off. So second off layoff, I'm looking for a good performance out of this one. So we'll take the number 9 on top, Boss's Rules. In the second spot, we're going to go to the 4, Toe Jam Football, which I think this horse is one of those all or nothing propositions. This one, as I recall, actually won in New York, broke her maiden in New York, if I remember right. And I think she'll be okay. She takes another class drop, gets significant class relief, and has 2 wins over the course. But once again, when you get a horse who looks this much better class-wise, shows up for a greatly reduced tag, you know, it's an all-or-nothing proposition. And so I would tread lightly, but I still think this one can be in the mix here. In the third spot, the 7, Miss Bauer, who goes for sharp connections here, making 65th lifetime start. Was necked last out, at 2 back, beaten 2.5. Got sent off at 6-5 in the slop in this race. And this one seems to have enough recent form that she can get a part of this. So 9, 4, 7 in the finale at Parks.
Sounds good. That wraps up Parks for this afternoon. A little earlier, I took a look at Turf Paradise. There are a couple of tracks that you'll be able to see on the network this afternoon. It's Tuesday, so the racing is a little late, but there is plenty of action out there to enjoy. We'll kick things off on the sulky side with Monticello, then move on to Parks, Beulah, Sam Houston, Turf Paradise, Sunderland, Western Fair, Dover Downs, Northfield, in Yonkers Raceway. So again, a little late for a Tuesday, but plenty of action, plenty of fun. Don't forget, if you missed our selections, go on over to the CapitalOTB.com website, right-hand side of the page. You see it right there. There is a Handicappers Report link. When you click on that, a nice printable page comes up with the selections of the handicappers each and every day. And also don't forget to visit CapitalOTBBets.com or betsingular.com. State-of-the-art wagering platform. It's been up, 3 or 4 months now. I use it virtually every day, and still I'm finding nice little bells and whistles on there to enjoy. So that is highly recommended. And if you aren't a Capital Bets account holder already and you'd like to jump on it and try out CapitalOTBBet.com, sign up for a new account. And when you do that, the Bet 50 Get 50 promotion is still running this month. As soon as you bet $50 into your account, Capital OTB puts another $50 in. Free money. Nothing wrong with that.
That's funny because you're right. Every time I look at that site, I find something new.
Yeah.
There is so much on there for the players.
No, absolutely.
It's a great site.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, it's not just a way to bet. There are bells and whistles that help you bet, which is always a bonus. All right, we're going to wrap things up for the Handicappers Report for this Tuesday morning. Seth Merrill and Mike Jarbo. We're here every morning with the Handicappers Report at 9 a.m., so hopefully we gave you some good advice. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Racing Across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.